AXE2Cap, let me put you on game. AXE2Cap, look at all that you could gain. Business moves, loans, and grants, it's all a part of the game. You could learn all of this that the Queen Sheba explained. AXE2Cap.
Thank you all for being here and accepting the invitation to have a discussion with Sheba regarding the Centered CEO and how women navigate entrepreneurship, mental health, and imposter syndrome. You all are a part of a 4-week virtual conversation where we are exploring mental health and wellness and how we navigate the journey of entrepreneurship in our communities, as well as in strategic leadership. So I want to dive in, but before I dive in, I would like to ask each of you to introduce yourselves, talk a little bit about the work that you do. I am going to ask Dr. Georgia if she could start, Dr. Jackie if she can go next, and Dr. Jessica if you can go after. That would be great.
Hello, everyone. My name is Georgia Powell. I would like to first say that I am the founder of Powell Mental Health, my newest initiative over the past few years. Just to introduce myself in regards to the space that I'm now serving in, recognizing that there is a lot of vulnerable individuals that are out there where needs are not addressed. And that's where it started for me. Coming out of corporate after 24 years, and being in the midst of making decisions that really I saw did not meet my community the way it needed to be met. And so I could continue on in corporate, or I could come out and do something to really benefit my communities locally and across different states, and now internationally. And that's what I've been doing. So I'm the owner of Powell Mental Health. Majority of our work looks at prevention for mental health. Before someone feels like they're in a crisis situation and are needing therapy, are needing to be in inpatient or other outpatient mental health services. And, after leaving the Sheba cohort program, that program allows us to launch what we call our concierge wellness services, which looks at another vulnerable population, those that are in the public eye. And those individuals are members of our community that may need a little bit more discreet privacy when it comes to mental health. That's the way that we will continue to look at mental health services, is if we can avoid as much as possible, right, and be a partner to those that are going through, right? Let's look at that first before something happens and it takes a little bit more time for them to get to that recovery point. So that's a little bit about the services. We're excited about what we're doing, and you're really thanking Sheba for this platform, not just to come back and share what we're doing, but for giving us the autonomy to dream and to dream about what we do and how we can do it better and how we can do it well for our communities. And that's what I've been doing for the past few years, and especially months after leaving the Sheba cohort program.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for that great introduction. Dr. Jackie.
Dr. Powell, you said the right word. What Sheba does, it allows you to dream big. And it's interesting, I'm wearing green right now. I got the building, Dr. Powell. I forgot to tell you. I'm sorry.
Oh, man, I'm so proud of you, but continue on. We will celebrate.
Sorry, you were the one who told Dr. Powell to get in touch with me for space or something. And then she told me about the SBA grant. And then...
Yeah.
That's what we do.
That's how we're all connected.
That's Sheba.
That's how we connect and we help each other and support each other.
Yeah, I forgot to. I'm sorry. It just clicked. But also,
well, that's exciting, right? Because, and we're gonna jump into it in a second. But this is how our community and our relationships are supposed to work. So we'll keep introducing yourself.
I'm sorry. So I'm the brand new owner of the Emerald House, which is now the home. You see the green? Which is now the home of the Life Changer Center and the Dream Big College. I've had these two platforms for the past 10 years, really in the space of helping individuals move to the next best version of themselves. For the past 5 years, I've really narrowed down my focus into teens and families. What I realized, a lot of the trauma and pain starts in childhood. So over the past couple of years, I've been partnering with many schools in the community, creating social emotional curriculum for them, and also doing groups. We started with groups for girls, And now we've mushroomed and grown into groups of boys. And now with the Emerald House, we look into groups for parents. We're looking to do change maker circles. These are sort of teens, young adults between the ages of 17 to 24, really helping them with life transitions. And also too, we'll do the Dream Big Academy for boys and girls. Last year was 10 years I've been in business. And so, it's next level. In my pitch competition, I pitched a building. And here we go. Thank you.
Yes, you did. You called those things that be not as though they
Amen.
were back
Amen.
then, and it came to life.
Yes.
All right, Dr. Jessica.
Dr. Jackie, I don't know you, but I'm really excited for you. That sounds like an amazing opportunity. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
So my name is Jessica Johnson. I am the founder of Renewed Pathways, a Christian mental health private practice in Connecticut, and we're almost licensed for a few other states. I recently hired our first clinician, which I'm really excited about. And so we're slowly but surely expanding, which is really great. I've been a therapist for 7 years, I believe, and been doing private practice for almost a little over 4.5 years. I have had a passion to help people that are hurting since I was a very little girl. I remember counseling my teachers when I was younger, and they're like telling me all their problems and like, oh, why am I talking to you? So it's been in my heart and in my passion. I believe it's a gift that God has given me from a really young age to be able to listen, to help people process their pain and trauma. When I talk about healing and pain, like I'm like a kid in a candy store, not because I like to see pain, but I love to be able to help people through it and process it. It's an amazing journey that I absolutely love. I feel like this is who I was created to be, to help other people to heal. And I'm really excited about the journey.
I love that. Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction and all of the work that you all are doing to pay it forward to the individuals in our communities, not just to entrepreneurs, but to their families and to their legacy. So thank you all for doing that. So let's get into it, right? Let's talk about how we encourage individuals to self-reflect and to deal with the challenges of imposter syndrome. We haven't normalized that yet. I'll ask Dr. Georgia, just kind of kick it off with us, one, by explaining what imposter syndrome is. And then two, how do we encourage people to normalize a conversation around it?
Imposter syndrome. I was that person. I was all in here thinking, can I do this? Right? Trying to figure out all the pieces before I actually put faith in works, right? I am a believer. I'm a, God girl, right? But at times, sometimes we have to see it for us to even take that step forward. I remember just going through corporate, and I always thought about it as God has me here for a reason. And while I'm figuring it out, I also need to start looking at what options that are out there. And a friend said to me, this friend has known me for a while, and she said, you know what, get out of your head. And so I'm describing this for someone who may not know what really imposter syndrome is when you think that you don't have the abilities to do above and beyond what God has ordained and designed for you to do, right? Things that you love. That young lady says, Georgia, get out of your head. You're too committed to your work, and they don't see the asset that you are. And if you don't, you're going to derail your entire career. I was asked to do something that did not align with my ethics, my morals, and all the things. And I says, God, I have to do it without notice. And so now, how do I transition over? So I say, I am that story of imposter syndrome, right? Now being on this side, it's like, oh my God, what took me so long? And it's almost as if it's addicting, where you're going to fail, you're going to come up short, you're going to hear no's all the time. But something that continues to bring me back is that moment when that person ever told me, get out of your head. And I'm learning how to get out of my head every single day. I'm learning how to take risk, and I'm adding prayer to it, and I'm listening to the voice of God. That is what's allowing me to transition still out of that imposter syndrome. I was that person, and I'm seeing it being stripped away little by little.
Beautiful. Thank you.
So it's interesting when it slipped in because I normally walk on water. And I think it really slipped in when I got into uncharted waters because I started comparing myself to other people and I'm like,
Mm.
am I? And then it took a toll, I would say. It slowed me down for a minute and really had me doubting. But like what Dr. Powell said, is a matter of surrounding yourself. Let people continue speaking into you, people you know, and let them continue speaking life because sometimes by pushing through and going through, we get tired as well. And sometimes doubt is gonna come in. And I think it's okay. But the question is, how long do you stay in that area? And the question is, do you let it bring you down to a point where it
Mm.
stagnates you? You know, because I think we're human beings. Yes, we'll have doubts, but let's continue surrounding ourselves with people who can speak life. Also increasing your faith too, because sometimes our faith wavers. Let's just be real sometimes. And in the wavering, we're like, okay, God, yes, yes. But then that means that we just need to go stronger. Whether it means to fast, whatever it takes, we just need to renew that spirit and say, God, you've told me to build it. I'm going to trust you and just let it go. And that's
Love
what has
that.
taken me to the next level.
Love that.
So I would add that I originally never thought that I struggled with like imposter syndrome because I'm thinking it's like a person that feels like they shouldn't be where they are. But I feel like I should be where I am. But I realize that I do downplay it. And so I am the first in my family to graduate from college. I'm first in my family to have a career. And now I'm the first in my family to like have their own business. And so
Beautiful.
it's a pressure that I didn't realize that I was under by being the first. And I'm like, yeah, it's really not that big of a deal. I'm also one of the only Black females in most of my spaces. And so like I downplayed it. And so I realized that is part of like the imposter syndrome, is just not fully accepting like the gifts that God has given you. But one thing that really, really helped me a few years ago was praying and asking God to show me who I am before I ever experience any like to show me the core Jessica. And like he just revealed so much to me. And that like kind of like propelled me. It was like a slingshot. And I just went for all of my dreams and goals. I'm like, oh, I can obtain anything. I saw some other quote one time, like, if you don't have a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. And so like it's so true. Like we have, like, God has placed gifts and talents in us, and the world deserves to see it.
I love that. I remember going into a meeting one day and all the seats were taken and nobody was like inching to get up. So I moved some people over and I sat at the edge of the desk.
Mm-hmm.
That's
You're
right.
at the table.
Forming her own feet. Listen.
And so at the end of the day, you know, if you're not making room for yourself, who is?
Right.
Our culture and our society has constantly spoke these things over us that makes us second guess who we are as women of color. And so I want to spend a little time there, right? Because I don't believe that other cultures struggle with imposter syndrome the way that we do. They have audacity that they walk in. I am looking to create a new strut, if I could say it, called Black Women Audacity, BWA, so that we know who we are every time we step out of a room, out of a meeting, out of wherever we step in, a grocery store, it doesn't even matter. All the things I've heard about Black women, for the most part, on social media, I can tell you probably out of 10 videos, I'm hearing 3 to 4 videos that say we're the last to get married. Our hair is not, our skin is not, we are, you know. Let's get into how technology and these social media platforms are triggering us in our self-doubt to not truly step into who we are called to be and lead our families or organizations or relationships with the audacity that we should be leading them with.
In listening to you, so we are disruptors. just having a business is like we are disruptors.
Mhm.
And what's a disruptor?
Mhm.
Someone who disrupts,
Mhm. Mhm.
right?
Right.
And first thing that came to mind is that the word courage. And who builds a disruptor? Nobody creates a disruptor. But I think it's an innate ability. But the same way as Black women, we are limited in that pathway because sometimes
Yeah.
within our own midst, within our own ranks, we pull each other down. Whether it's jealousy, whether it's oh, you cannot do this, and who audacity, who are you?
Right.
That
And so
part.
it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of sleepless nights to say, okay, am I going to take this? Am I going to have a building on Albany Avenue? That's audacity. Who are you?
I love that, Dr. Jackie, when, with you calling out the fact that we oftentimes don't know that we're doing it to ourselves. We don't know that.
Well, the other people are doing it around us too. In terms of supporting us, like pushing, go ahead, you got this girl. They will find elements to
Mhm.
break us down.
Mhm.
They'll find first leak
Yeah.
to break us down. And sometimes our own forces, our own people.
It's the spirit of comparison, right? We start off early talking about imposter syndrome, right? I think in cultures such as, and I don't like using the word corporate America, but in spaces that we don't see ourselves a lot in, especially Black women, the fact that we always have to feel like we have to prove ourselves, right? You work twice as hard and it's never enough because the intent was never even to promote you unless you almost wanted to sell your soul. We hear what they say, we see it being written in social media, we see it being acted out in social media, we see it, in our noses in every angle. And so at times it becomes that spirit of comparison. Am I good enough? Am I worthy? I mean, I work harder than some of the other individuals that I worked with, right? I am putting in the work, but I'm also being blocked. So when you talk about me making money for these companies, millions, I probably say billions. Why not take that level of commitment and bring it into where God is calling you to be? And I think that's one of the things that broke the spirit of comparison for me in a way where it's now helping me to drive me in other areas. I'm going to have shortfalls. I'm going to have hiccups along the way. But for me right now is knowing that I have one life to live. I try not to question my achievements. I am worthy. And the service that we provide, because it's uncompromised, I know that my community needs it. Why not? At the end of the day, that becomes very simple for me in where I am right now. Why not? Right? So I'll leave it there.
Beautiful. Love that. Dr. Jessica.
When I think about like comparison, I think that is so deeply rooted in our culture. Like there's the other ethnicities that kind of look down on the African American culture, but then like we were taught from a long time ago to look down on each other, like segregating different shades of color. If you're dark skinned, then you're not as good. If you're light skinned, you're better. Even from slavery times. And so it's so deeply like rooted in our culture where now we just naturally compare ourselves to others. I think both Georgia and Jackie, or you guys mentioned the different programs that you have in your businesses that are supporting, like groups that are supporting women and just helping them to know who they are pretty much. It sounds like, and I feel like the more platforms that we have like that to be able, and even Sansaray, the Sheba program, like it's a community that you're bringing together and we're supporting one another. The more we can do that, the more we can almost silence that comparison voice, and to really just lift one another up. Like for me, I'm the first in my family to do a lot of things, but I don't feel like I'm above them. I'm like, now, like we're changing our legacy, like for our entire family. For my brother got his degree right at like a few years after me. He's like, oh, my baby sister can't be the first one that get, or only one in our family that has a degree. And so he went to school. Now my nieces and nephews, they're in college. And so like it's changing not just for me, but for other people. And so the more we can do the work for ourselves, the more we change it for our families and our communities. It's like a domino effect to be able to support others as well.
I love that. I love that. You know, as you're talking about being a trendsetter, because that's what that is, being a trendsetter and an icon in your own rights for your family and your community. I often wonder how much we have to remind ourselves, like every day, every 30 minutes, every 4 hours, like how often do we have to remind ourselves that we did that? And we just put a footprint in the sand for someone else to model. So if we talk about imposter syndrome and how it robs us in our legacy and our generations and our babies and our families of opportunity, talk to me about some of the triggers that show up to do that. Dr. Jackie, talk to me about the babies, the young women that you coach and you mentor and that you groom in this space around that.
As we look at my model, it's all about becoming a change maker and understanding the processes of metamorphosis. And I always use the example of the butterfly. You know, the butterfly had to go through its cocoon stages. And sometimes we go through our dark periods to get those beautiful wings, you know? And so really connecting the dark stages to your becoming stages. Because sometimes in our becoming stages, people think, oh, I'm not cut out for this. I wouldn't do this. Oh, yes, the imposter syndrome will show up. And that means it's a failure. And just listening to our stories, understanding it's not a failure. And as we refine ourselves, you know, sometimes there's a pullback to go forward. I think someone said that, you know, you get catapult. I always say, once you understand the formula of life, I think you can then keep going. And there'll be a downtime because you get to the bottom of the wheel, you know, or you get to the bottom of the mountain and then you go back up. But once you understand that, I think, and it's teaching those basic elements, I think. Once we're able to teach those basic elements, get ready for the mountaintop. And yes, something is going to happen, but you have to keep on going. So it's teaching them those basic things. And so even as we look at imposter syndrome, as you become more advanced, understanding now there's God, there's a creator, and there's an assignment on your life, and it's connecting those two. I think it makes it more of a powerful purpose. So moving people from a place of survival to a purpose-driven life, I think that's the journey.
Love that. Love that. Love that. You know, I've been listening to something, Joel Osteen has been talking about his new book called Chosen, about understanding who we were chosen to be. Like this is already something that has been spoken into us. We're just kind of tripping into it as we're walking through this journey and on this life cycle, as Dr. Jackie called it, as we're on this life cycle of ups and downs and ebbs and flows, we oftentimes don't realize this is already mapped out for us. So Dr. Georgia, when you start to talk about setting unrealistic expectations and putting it on yourself, talk to me about how that applies to someone who's already chosen but don't realize they're already chosen.
I'm going to go back to something simple, surrounding yourself with a community.
Yes.
God has given you a vision, but you can't do it by yourself. And that's why the people that are around your circle, that he helps for you to gain discernment. He helps for you to pray and fast and all the things to see, God, who do I go to? So I say, surround yourself with a community. They're there. They're there to help you. You will hear more yes than you think in your mind than you would. Right? It's learning how to ask for what you want. And that allows us to move one step further, right? Going through, the Black Business Alliance, doing pitch competition and meeting in Sheba. It's like it took a community for me to get here, right? So how do we pay that forward? I hear Dr. Jackie says, I went to her for a space and she was like, well, I'm working on this, right? I become a community to Dr. Jackie, and Dr. Jackie became a community to me. And where Dr. Jackie is right now is not because of me, but her willingness, right? To say, let me find out more about that, because that's where I'm looking to be, right? So I say this to say, find your community. It's there, right? And especially as Black women, women entrepreneur, there's some mean ones out there, but there's some really good women out there, right? I say focus on those, finding those women, because it's people like my mom and people like, my first lady and girlfriends of mine that I've had that says, Georgia, but what if you win? I can help you, right? It's okay. Build that community around you. And I say, Santeray, listen, I heard of Santeray before this point, and someone says, Georgia, you got to go here. And I can't even tell you that cohort community, it's a community. Like, I don't even need to call Santeray. I can call Brianna and get an answer, and Santeray don't even know. But that's because she's built that community for us to be able to explore some of the services that we don't know that are available to us. And I think we do a disservice when we don't ask, right? I am now never afraid to hear the word no. I just mean that I've eliminated one so that I can just find that yes. So I say, know your community.
Build that tribe. You need that tribe. And those mean girls get real mad when you ignore them. So just ignore the mean girls. It's okay. It's build that tribe. And guess what? Everybody can't go where you're going. Everybody's not anointed to carry.
That's the whole word.
That part.
We're going to start planting some spiritual seeds into what we're all talking about, because we've touched on God, we've touched on prayer, we've touched on knowing who we are and being faithful and digging in and praying and fasting and all that good stuff. But when we start to really understand the call that's on our lives and the anointing that we carry, everyone can't go. And so your tribe looks different at every level. So Dr. Jessica, when you start to talk about your tribe and how it looks, and you're talking to that little girl who don't have a tribe right now, she don't even know who she is, where she came from, she's struggling with her own identity. How do we encourage that young lady to build a solid tribe around her?
I think it starts with just identifying like her needs and helping her to identify like what she needs. And one, like to be able to identify what she needs is to identify what she doesn't have. And then like building from there. I remember when I was younger, I think maybe in 5th or 6th grade, I don't know why I did this, but I watched a baby be born when I was like 11 years old, and it was the most amazing experience of my life. Like, I was so excited when my cousin had a baby and she let me in the room, and I'm like, I want to be an obstetrician. Like, that is the most amazing thing to like see that happen. And I think I was in 5th or 6th grade, and my teacher at the time, she went around the table, around the classroom, and was asking each of us what we wanted to be when we got older. And I was so excited because I'm like, I made it up in my mind. I was going to be a doctor. I was going to be an obstetrician. My mom told me I had to be a doctor from a really young age. So I'm like, okay, an obstetrician, that's it. And when I told her, she said, oh no, like people like you couldn't become a doctor. And it broke my heart, And so like I went home like crying to my mom. I'm like, I thought I could be an obstetrician and I can't be. She's like, why can't you be? And I said, like, why? And she was like, don't you ever let someone tell you you can't be what you want to be. I would tell another little girl who was looking for her identity is to find what's in you. Whatever it is that you want, you can be just that. Like, I really, really believe that there's nothing that we can't do. Like, it's in us, and we can do whatever God has placed in us. Like you said, like we're already chosen for this time, this place, this gift, whatever it is, like it's already in us and we can tap into it. It is about finding our community and opening your mouth. One of my favorite quotes is, oh my
A
goodness.
closed mouth never get fed. Is that the one?
What'd you say?
A closed mouth never get fed. Is that the one you
No, but I do like that one. It's around silence. I did this group called Breaking the Cords of Silence. I think, Georgia, you may have been around then.
Yes.
But like it's so important to just not stay silent. It like you have to let your voice be heard in those
Silence is the death to opportunity. Let's just make up a new one today. Silence is the death to opportunity.
And so just allowing your voice to be heard is vital, especially in our community.
Beautifully said.
Thank
You
you.
know, the time flies when we having fun, ladies, and it's almost time for us to wrap. It's almost time for us to wrap, but we're not gonna wrap before we talk about the positivity of imposter syndrome. Oftentimes we look at the self-doubt and what it does to debilitate us, but we don't spend a lot of time on how it motivates us. So talk to the young woman, young man, whoever is listening and watching this discussion on how they can use imposter syndrome to fuel opportunity, to fuel the next level, to motivate them to want to fight the good fight. Talk to us about that, Dr. Jackie.
So 2 parts. Can I just go back to one thing? The chosen part. I just wanted to add to that chosen part. I think when you get to that stage of chosen, that's another elitist mindset where it just brings us to that next level. So, and it just opens us up to greater. I just wanted to add that because once you said that, that just like poof, but it takes a process to get to that chosen and to understand that you're chosen. And so when we look at that young person, for them to get to that point is a matter of, let's say, you know what? I need to learn all those technical skills. And you need to, so when you look at imposter syndrome, it reflects something. There is something where it shows you that you may be deficient in, right? And so you have to ask, why are you here at this moment? And so when you look at it, you say, okay, you are here to teach me something for this moment. So let's be open to whatever it's here to teach you.
Yeah,
and then,
read that book. Learn how to play that piano.
Thank you.
Like, keep on riding that horse. Learn how to swim. Do whatever it is that you feel like you can't do. Motivate yourself to figure out how to do it. I don't have a doctorate degree yet. Oh, well, sounds like I'm going back to school to get that doctorate degree. Or can we turn the work that we're already doing into an honorary doctorate? Like, let's motivate. How do we got to turn it off somehow? And that looks like maybe every 10, 15, 30 minutes, 3 hours, whatever. Every time it comes, you have to replace it with something. But I love the fact that you talked about being motivated around the things that we need to learn how to do. That we may not know already, right? That's self-development and being authentic and honest about what that looks like. None of us are perfect and none of us know everything. I would love to know how to write with my left hand a lot better than I do. So guess what? We practice. we practice.
And
right?
also too, for us too as professionals, it may mean that I cannot do everything. Get somebody else to do it. So there's a shift that's happening.
Trust.
To move through instead of resisting it.
That root of trust. How much do you trust yourself and how much do you trust other people to help you get to where you're supposed to be without being debilitated by imposter syndrome? Dr. Georgia, what advice would you give to a little 13-year-old girl or that single mom? What does that look like?
I would say it starts with a dream, right? And a dream, your mind is the most powerful tool on you. So if that dream that you have, that I see myself, the little Jessica, the little Georgia, the little Jackie, right? It starts with the mind. Continue to fuel that mind. If you don't have what you think you need, it's out there for you, right? So don't lose that dream in your mind. bring in those skill sets and don't think about them too long. It's okay to mess up. It's okay to mess up as long as you're doing what you're supposed to do in the now. That's all I have to say.
Love that. Love that. And the battlefield is in the mind. If you haven't read that book by Joyce Myers, you need to. Absolutely. Thank you. Dr. Jessica, bring us home.
So the quote that I was thinking of is healing begins when silence ends. I think I made it up, but I may have gotten it from somewhere. But that is it's like my motto. I really believe that like if you want healing, you have to speak up. Like you just have to talk about it. Otherwise it grows, it gets bigger. And one of the things that I would tell someone, or one of the things I've been really like interested in recently, is leaning into pain. Like it sounds weird, and like who wants to feel pain, but there's like this amazing thing that happens when you allow yourself to feel whatever that opposition is. Like it starts to dissipate. It no longer has power, it no longer has control, and now you have control over it. And so I believe that if we can not be afraid of growing, of healing, and we just feel whatever it is, we can actually grow and heal tremendously.
Beautifully said. And I will tell you what I wrote down when you ladies were speaking to bring this back around full circle. Fear kills faith, but you get to choose which one you lean into.
Yes.
Not leaning into fear today, ladies. Listen, this has been a great discussion. I look forward to having and continuing this discussion around imposter syndrome and encouraging our community on how we can use it as a tool for motivation instead of a license of debilitation. We appreciate everything that you've given to the Sheba community and to those who are listening who may not yet be a part of the community. I appreciate all the work you're doing in your communities around mental health and wellness, whether if it's faith-based or not. We know that there are not enough of you out there, so continue to fight the good fight. Thank you so much for being here with Sheba. We appreciate you, and until next time, have a great one.
AXE2Cap, let me put you on game. AXE2Cap, look at all that you could gain. Business moves, loans, and grants, it's all a part of the game. You could learn all of this, let the Queen Sheba explain. AXE2Cap,